Well, good afternoon, friends, and welcome back. If you've been here before, if you've watched me before, welcome back. And if you're new to watching me paint live, well, welcome to you as well. So, I hope to see a lot of you on here today. I see a number already on the Instagram one, and by the way, I'm having a little bit of difficulty getting everything adjusted this afternoon, but I'm doing my best. I've got some glare. For those of you who are watching on Instagram, there's some glare on there. I've tried to move it around to get it to look better, but I'm having difficulty there. Well, good afternoon, Michael. Let's see, Atelier Schultz, welcome. Tato, welcome. And John O'Connell, welcome, John. Let's see, the Muted Man, that's my son, my youngest son. Welcome, Josh. And my wife's over here on Facebook, so welcome, Pam. So we've got a fair amount here ready to start. If you watched me paint on Saturday, you already know that I worked on two canvases. I worked on one in oil and the other in acrylic. And after living with these two canvases for a while, I've decided, I just don't like the results. So I'm going to start and redo. I'm going to edit and paint over them. Another artist from Florida that I recently interviewed said, as an artist, you don't need an eraser, you don't need another canvas, you don't need another piece of paper, just paint over it. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, hello Ron, welcome. I have to tell you that, to paint over oil, I have to use oil. I can use oil or acrylic over the acrylic painting. But if I were to use acrylic painting over oil, as it dried, the paint would crack. So we don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do today is, instead of trying to use oil and acrylic, I'm going to use just oil. The acrylic causes me to have some restrictions there. So I'm just going to use oil. I'm going to use the same palette for the whole thing. And I think that was one of my issues on Saturday, is that I was trying to switch back and forth between two different palettes, which is kind of difficult to do. I kind of got confused at times. Tato, those are the best paintings. Most of mine have been 2 or 3 different things before they become a piece that I'm unsatisfied with. Satisfied, I meant. Yes, I understand. I understand. That happens to all of us from time to time. So, let's get started. This one there's a lot of, by the mixtures of the colors, it seems to be there's a lot of dark colors and a lot of browns, so I want to lighten that one up. This one's pretty bright, but I still don't like it at all. A friend of mine sent me a message and said, well, what's wrong? And, well, what's wrong is I just don't like them. So we're going to make some changes here. So let's start with, let's just start with some white. Can't go wrong there, can I? And white over here. Remember, I'm using oil on both canvases. Now I get my trusty paper towels. Tato says orange and white would look great on the blue. On this one, huh? Orange and white. Well, let's just try some orange. That was my next choice anyway. And because I want these two to look similar, when I apply one color on one canvas, I'm going to apply the same color on the second canvas. So you see I've got orange and white on both canvases. Now, blue, since blue is my favorite color, I gotta get some blue in here. Not that there's not enough already around the perimeter here of the painting, but let's get some blue in here. Same color blue over here. And I want some dark blue. This is, no, I'm dipping into the wrong blue. I want some Prussian blue, which is a dark blue. Love it. Love the Prussian blue color. It makes the other colors, in my opinion, it makes the other colors, I can't speak here, I got tongue-tied, pop a little. Now you see I'm placing the colors on each canvas kind of in the same vicinity, vice versa, just to see how they're going to come out. That's not, I'm not trying to duplicate it. In other words, I don't want the same shapes in both canvases, but I want the same colors in on both canvases. Jürgen Bernholt, welcome, my friend. And if I mispronounce your name, correct me some way. So I don't know if I want to use very much of this or not, but let's just give it a little try. Just a little bit of green. And a little bit of green over here. Oops. I'm wiping that out. I'm losing the white over here, so I'm going to add some more white back in there. There we go. Now here's another shade of blue that I really like. But you know what blue don't I like? I like them all. Don't you just love the sound of the knife on the canvas? I do. Scraping on the canvas. Ah, you know what? I haven't used any red yet. Here's a new color that I didn't use Saturday. Purple. Oops, I'm getting ahead of myself because I didn't add any red over here. So let's get that red in. And get some of this purple here. I like the purple against the orange. I think that's awesome. Also, I think isn't the complementary color of purple, isn't it yellow? Let's see how that looks. Obviously the purple has some blue in it, so when you add some yellow, that blends in with that purple. There to get some green. Tato, she says, or he says, sorry, let me know if you still want to do the interview sometime. I know you mentioned it a few weeks back. Of course, email me. Maybe you have already emailed me, but email me. jerryhardestystudio@gmail.com. And what Tato is referencing is that I produce and host a podcast called The Artist's Voice. If you haven't listened to it, I encourage you to do so. There's some really interesting artists who have been guests on the show. My latest was an artist from, or a multi-talented artist from Argentina. And I don't know, I don't think you won't want to miss it. Seriously, you won't want to miss it. Now, because on Saturday, what I painted, I created some texture, which created some ridges, and when I'm painting over those ridges, the ridges will stay in there so that you can see the underpainting somewhat. And I really like how that's coming out, how that's showing through. You can see the paint down in the ridge. This one over here, the oil painting, I'm going to say it was a little more smooth, not as textural as the acrylic, and that's just the nature of the beast, so to speak. It is a little bit here and there. You can see there this orange coming through. I really like that. Yeah, I really like that. All right, where do I want to go now? I'm liking this up in here. I'm liking this pretty much all over. See the little bit of white peeking through? That's nice. Very nice. If you watched me on Saturday, you'll remember also I was having trouble with the oil, or with the acrylic paints drying out too fast. I have an ceiling fan in this in this room, although I don't have it on today because it's a little bit cooler than it was on Saturday. I think I need some more blue up in this area, so that means I'm going to put it over there as well. And I'm going to use this favorite color of blue of mine, this one right here. Some of that texture that I was talking about. Oops, you can't hear me, can you? I said I'm losing some of that texture that I was talking about that I really like, that's showing through up here. But and I got a little blue over into this other painting, but that's okay. You know, while you're on here, I do welcome your comments. I do like to have you engage while I'm painting. Just makes it more interesting for everybody. So, Julie Smith. Hi, Julie. How are you, girl? She says, happy painting. Julie Smith is one of my biggest fans. Julie actually won the giveaway from a giveaway show. I had a virtual show a couple weeks ago, and Julie actually won a 20 by 20 print of my painting called Louder Than a Whisper. And there's a long story behind Louder Than a Whisper. But I'm not going to go into it right now. So let's see, what can we do now? I need some more of the dark depression. Love depression. The paint, that is. Over here. Prussian blue. Miss Gibby Parfum, welcome. Andres Weissman, you are watching again. Thank you for showing up again. Let's see, red, orange. I haven't used this red yet. It's soupy, nice and soupy. And look at that. You see green and red, complementary colors, right side by side. Nice, eh? I think it is. Let's get some of this soupy red over here. It wants to run on me. And it's not applying very, it's very oily. So it's not applying very thickly. Thick. Yeah, that's better. Kind of blend it in. Kind of makes a nice violet in part of that there. I do like that. Who we got over here? Oh, Andy. Andy Rindlisbach. The other name, I could not think of Andy's last name. He just said Andy Bach. Well, it's Andy Rindlisbach, and he says, I love to see how the paintings are kind of in conversation. Came from such different places and still different from each other, but have a connection now. Yeah, and that's the intent, Andy. Trying to make them connect, trying to bring them together rather than what they were at the end of my session on Saturday. And like I said earlier, I just did not like the results that I got on Saturday. So, anyway, I think they are coming together. I like how they're related to one another. That doesn't mean that they have to be hung together. They can certainly be hung as separate pieces, standalone pieces. But at the same time, if you wanted to hang these together, that would be great. It would be almost like a fraternal diptych, if there is such a thing, if you know what I mean. In other words, they're related because of their colors and because of the style, but at the same time, they're not related. In other words, they weren't attached at birth. That makes sense? I'm loving some of these textures that are coming through. You see here how I've used my palette knife to create some textures, and it almost looks like brush strokes, but as you know, I haven't used any brush strokes on here. Majid, welcome. Majid, great painting. I love everything about it. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I probably didn't pronounce your name correctly, But anyway, let me know. You know, please. I appreciate it. I appreciate these comments. Like I said, makes it more interesting for everybody watching when we get comments like that. Another thing I like about this, do you see how by how I used my knife, I created a nice form here. Form, shape. Shape is what I want to say there. So, moving on. Let's see what I want now. More blue, more blue. Different blue. How about a different blue? Oh, I don't like the way that's coloring. Alright, let's just... Don't like that. How do you like that? So, because I don't like that, I'm going to take some of it off. That's better. There we go. There's some more of those shapes repeated. There we go. But this right here is going in the same direction. So let's see if we can't make that more interesting. I do like this texture right here. And I do like the orange. I do like these textures. Alright. Let's try some white there because that's what I started with there. Oh, look at the red over here. The runny red. It's running. Let's get some more of this purple. You know, I think I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Maureen, welcome. As an artist, it's my job to move the viewer's eyes around the canvas and not focus on any one particular thing. And especially with non-objective abstract painting, my job is well, to not have images in here. Although people always look for images in abstract painting. They do. I painted one painting and I was showing it to some friends of mine, and one of the guys said, "Oh, I see a chicken." I said, "You know, there is no chicken there. There is no chicken. If you think there's a chicken, that's fine. You buy it and you can call it whatever you want to." Well, he didn't buy it. Anyway, I have got to use some of this. While you're watching me paint, I just want to remind you, if you're not already aware of it, that I am doing another virtual live show on Facebook Live and Instagram Live on Saturday evening at 7 p.m. That's this Saturday, June 13th. So please join me. I'm going to be showing approximately a little over 20 paintings, most of which are less than $500 a piece. In fact, most of them are even less than that. Some of the price reductions are as much as 75% off. So if you're looking for a gift or something for yourself, you might want to take advantage of that and just tune in to see what I have available. Again, that's Saturday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time on Instagram Live or Facebook Live. So please join me. Jerry Lacatos, welcome. Excuse me. Aren't you glad you're not in the same room? This one is closer to being finished than this one. I'm still not happy with the center part here. So, let's work on that a bit. You notice me kind of wiping the edges along because paint gets on those edges, even though they're painted black. After the painting's dry, I usually touch them up, but I don't want that. I don't want that paint to dry because it can become brittle and hard, especially on acrylic pieces. But they're both pretty tough when it comes to paint. So the thing of it is, I've actually broken my skin rubbing my hand. Of course, you're not supposed to rub your hand over a painting, you know. Leaves oil on there, which can affect the quality of the painting. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to go to a museum and want to touch everything. They don't like that. That's why those guards are standing around. They don't want you to do that. What do I need? Let's try some yellow. I haven't used much yellow. And partially because it always turns green. Now that's nice, the way that has come together, but yet I've left some texture there. There we go. I know we've got some artists on here, probably quite a few artists on here, so thanks for showing up. That's very flattering when another artist comes to watch what I do, how I put it together. Question for you artists: do you feel like you put out when you prepare your palette? You just put out way too much paint. I do. I always do. So what do you do with the extra paint? Obviously you can't squeeze it back into the tubes, and of course a lot of my paint comes from jars. Look how the texture there is showing through. I like that. I don't like fingers of paint. Still not happy with that, so I'm not sure what to do with it. We'll give it a shot. That drop cloth comes in handy. Algirdas Auglica. Auglicus. I probably butchered that name, but welcome. Glad to have you. We're the same group over here. You're not adding and you're not leaving. I guess that's good. Alright, I've added quite a bit in there, but still not happy. If I'm not happy, you probably won't be either. In case you hadn't noticed, I used quite a bit of paper towels. Am I digging a hole? I don't know. Maybe. PA Art is watching. Hello, PA Art, and welcome. You ever watch an artist paint, and they'll paint a little bit here, and then, oh, all of a sudden they're up here, and they're over here. Do you ever wonder, why? We kind of go where our painting leads us. Does that make sense? Sorry if I'm not talking very much. Sometimes you just got to paint. You get in, I get in the zone, and I just have to do my own thing and go where this painting wants me to go. Runny red. Now, one thing I sometimes do, and if you've watched me before, you've heard me say it, is that I'll stand back and I'll take a look at what I've accomplished, and sometimes I'll rotate the canvas a quarter of a turn at a time to see which will be the best orientation for the painting. I'm not going to do that with these because it's kind of difficult when you've got two paintings side by side. It makes it a little bit more difficult, and I can just see one or both falling on the floor, and that's not a good thing. That happened to me one time recently when I was taping, doing a live session, and I had a brush full of paint in one hand, and the canvas was falling, and it went whew, something like that. Anyway, I kind of liked the mark and I kept it. Well, they're quite different, but yet related, obviously related. And look at this here. Even though I said this is not a diptych or intended to hang together, but you can see where I didn't do this on purpose, but it's just the way it turned out. I've used the very same color right here in the corners of the two canvases. Hello, Philomena. Welcome. Philomena is one of my guests. She was a guest artist on the podcast, The Artist's Voice. Now, what else do I need to do? What was I saying? Don't remember what I was saying. Oh, how these are related. But if you did hang them together, I would put them at the same level. You know what I mean? And I would hang them. I wouldn't hang them butt to butt, so to speak. I would probably hang them 1 or 2, 3 inches apart, depending on what looked the best, so that you can see them together and see how they're actually related. I'm not sure I want to do this, but we'll give it a shot. I usually like to spray some down and get some drips going. There, see those red drips going? I got some blue going there. And I'm not using water for that. I'm using a medium to create those drips. I don't want a lot of drips in there, but just enough to make it more interesting. Comments? Questions? Am I going to see you all on Saturday evening? I certainly hope so. Again, for those of you who were not on here when I made the announcement, but Saturday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, I will be doing a virtual studio show showing about 20-some paintings, over 20 paintings I have one that I've listed for $900, and that is at a 50% reduction. So in other words, originally it was $1,800. All the rest of the paintings on there are less than $500 each, and they're of various sizes. In addition to that, I'm sure I will have a giveaway. However, I haven't decided what I'm going to give away at this point. So you never know. But you have to pre-register, and I don't have the registration form filled or created yet, so don't go looking for it. But I should have it by Friday. And please pre-register so that you will be eligible for the contest or the drawing to receive an original free painting or a print, one of the two. So in the meantime, I think I'm going to call it quits on these two and live with them for a while, like I said I had already done and didn't like. But I'm liking these. I'm really liking these now. They look like they go together, or they could be standalones. Now all I need is a title. Julie Smith. It's looking beautiful and so interesting how you pull the colors all together. Thank you, Julie. So, anyway, again, I thank you all for attending, and I hope to see you again. I'll probably paint next week sometime. Oh, no, I plan on painting Saturday before the show. I think I got it scheduled for 2 o'clock. Andy Rindlesbach says, this has been great to watch. Thanks for bringing us in. It's my pleasure, Andy. Thanks for showing up and coming together. So, with that, I'm going to shut things down, and hope you all have a nice rest of your day, nice safe day. Be safe, stay in, and we'll talk to you later.